Ryan Helsley blows yet another save, but don't expect for his role to change anytime soon.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I am your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. Follow me on X at JD Sports Radio, the podcast at LO_Cardinals. On YouTube as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on things. Also available on TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Felt a little bit of both on Monday night as the Cardinals almost steal one away from the Toronto Blue Jays, only to see their closer give up the lead again, which eventually led to a 5-4 loss in 10 innings at Busch Stadium in a game that was about as boring as it can get for 7 innings. If you're a Cardinals fan, I'm sure Blue Jays fans were having a good time, but not much going on for the Cardinals. Almost nothing happened for them offensively for 7 innings. It was quite a ride over the final 3 frames, though. That's for sure. Trailing 3-0, the Cardinals would mount a 2-out comeback that saw them take the lead on a 3-run home run by Ivan Herrera. And basically, after taking a trip down Boraphil Lane for most of the night, the Cardinals miraculously had a 4-3 lead with just 3 outs to go. Hell's bells rings out, and the reigning NL closer of the year comes out of the gate to close things out against the bottom of the Toronto order. But in an all too familiar scene this season, especially recently, this didn't happen. Ryan Helsley was able to get the first out, although it was a bit of a struggle. Had him 0-2. Count ends up going full before getting the pop out to Mason Wynn. You're 2 outs away from a phenomenal comeback victory. In steps the mighty 9-hole hitter for the Blue Jays, Jonathan Clase, 23-year-old who in 6 seasons of professional baseball has 51 total home runs. So not exactly a major power threat stepping into the box. He's the number 9 hitter for a reason. Helsley falls behind in the count 2-1 and then lays an absolute cookie right down the middle, and Clase slams it 107 miles per hour off the bat, 415-foot solo home run to tie the game. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The Helsley reaction to it said it all. If you were watching the, oh no, crouch and then stare as the ball sails deep into the stands in center field, into the bleachers. I think we probably all said the same thing. It might have been what Helsley said while he was crouched on the mound area there when it happened. You've got to be kidding me. All the momentum that Busch Stadium had was immediately sucked out like Mega Made from the Spaceballs, the movie. Toronto would end up winning the game 5-4 in 10 innings. The Helsley experience it's been a whole lot different than what we saw last year. That's for sure. When he set a Cardinals franchise record with saves, 49 of those. That's now 3 straight blown saves, all in the last 5 days. 5 blown saves on the season. Mind you, Helsley blew 4 saves all of last year, and he's already past that. He's got 5 already this season. Also, the 3rd home run he's given up, tying the amount that he gave up all of last season. After the game, he spoke with the media about what's going on with him and said, I'm just trying to see the positives and everything, learn from it and take it one day at a time. That's all I can do. The obvious suggestion that I have is don't throw the ball right down the middle. 100 miles per hour, although in theory sounds awesome. Not quite as special as it used to be, but it's still freaking awesome. It's certainly more hittable when it's as straight as Helsley throws it, and it's right down the middle. If he's living on the edges with that, he's probably getting that guy out. Not what happened here. And as frustrating as it is with the way things are going with the blown saves, they haven't all been like this. It hasn't been him giving up, a long fly tater to blow the game and ruin everything. Ollie pointed out after the game that, there's been some randomness to not only Monday's game in general, but to Helsley's recent blown saves. I mean, Helsley even brought it up saying, against Kansas City, I got the double play ball, and it just happened to be right up the middle. And then against the Dodgers, the ball hits the second base bag, talking about Shohei Ohtani's base hit in the ninth there. And he's like, I strike out the side, and somehow I still give up a run. It's the closer role is a very volatile role. You get all the accolades and everything when you do your job, but it is magnified a million times when you don't, because it feels like you're the one who screwed everything up for the team. And it's a tough place to be. It's not an easy job by any means. And, we talked about that, saying that tonight I was just challenging the number 9 hole guy, Class A, and trusting my stuff. He put a good swing on it, and I have to tip my hat. Yeah, I mean, that is what happened. I mean, these guys are major league hitters for a reason. It's just such a crushing defeat after being able to come back from where you were for 7 innings, where this team looked like they were asleep at the wheel. Like, I was like nodding off watching it. I was like, oh my gosh, is there anything happening here? When I started, putting together my notes for the game, I'm like, I got nothing to talk about. Nothing has happened. And then you get just wildness over the last 3 frames. And unfortunately, it doesn't fall the Cardinals' way. So I got more on Helsley. We're going to talk about the offensive as well. Head-scratching moment in the 10th inning that I'm curious about. But we're going to get to all of it coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether it's plumbing, whether it's HVAC, electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right, which is what we all aspire to do, right? Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you're going to find exactly what you need delivered fast, coast to coast. And if you happen to need some help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service so that you're always going to be able to talk to a real person. It's not AI. It's not you punching buttons on your phone. It is a real human being on the other side helping you through whatever it is you need. And for trade pros, if you're looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering your plumbing, your HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Thank you again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on X anytime you want. We got a whole lot of feedback after last night's game. People just enraged about what's going on with Ryan Helsley. And, there are a lot of people who are like, trade him, get him off my team. And that's not going to happen. Maybe something towards the trade deadline, maybe, but it's not going to happen. They're not just shipping this dude out on a Tuesday. Stop it. It's not going to happen. But as I pointed out yesterday, if you listen to yesterday's show, it's been a journey just about every time Helsley takes the mound this year. A lot of traffic on the base paths, whether it's walks, whether it's hits, opponents' batting average against him. It's climbed significantly each year since 2022. 128 is what the batting average against was in 2022, which is insane. 176 in 2023, which is still incredible. 210 last year, still awesome. And so far this season, though, Chip Carey's going to like this one. 269 batting average against for Ryan Helsley. That's not good. That's not good whatsoever. And I was kind of looking at things, and he's become a 2-pitch guy, really. Going almost exclusively with the fastball and slider. That nasty 12-6 curveball that we've seen from him in the past has all but vanished, really. He's only thrown that thing 22 times this year. He has thrown a cutter in there a few times as well, but it is fastball, slider. That's what he's coming at you with. And while opponents are batting just 95 against his slider, that's right, 95. They're batting under 100. They're hitting a whopping 426 against his four-seam fastball. So that tells me that his pitch placement sucks, that he is catching way too much of the plate when he's throwing that four-seam fastball, because when you're throwing four seams at 100 miles per hour, it shouldn't be that easy to hit. Guys should not be hitting 426 against you when you've got heat like that, and they are. And when you see games and people wonder why he's not throwing the fastball more, which is something that I have questioned as well. Like, why did he doesn't trust it? It's because it's getting clobbered. You have a reason not to trust it, because it seems like every time he throws it, it gets smoked. His fastball has a -5 run value on Baseball Savant, while the slider is a +6. But the two go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. You're not just throwing slider, 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 slider. That's not going to work, because a slider isn't normally meant to be thrown as a strike. One sets up the other. So he's just got to be better with the fastball. That's what this boils down to. He's got to have better pitch placement. He's got to live on the edges. He's got to move it up and down in the zone. He's got to pitch with the fastball. He's not throwing it by anybody anymore. Nobody's surprised at 100 miles per hour these days. If you throw 100, good for you. Looks cool on the radar gun. But a lot of people throw 100 now. It's not as special as it used to be. So you can't just throw it past people. It's not going to work, because the velo is still there. There's nothing wrong with how hard he's throwing. 98th percentile. Chase percentage, in large part due to that slider, 85th percentile. But the bottom line is, this is their guy for the Cardinals. Like, don't expect any changes here. That's not going to happen. They're not going to punt on the reigning NL closer of the year because of one bad week. You know, like watching the post-game press conference with Ollie last night, there's no his faith in Ryan Helsley hasn't gone anywhere. You know, they give credit to the hitter who put a good swing on it. Still drives me nuts that it's the number 9 hitter. Like, if it was like Bichette or Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I'd be like, oh man, that sucks. You know, those guys are awesome, but Class A. I mean, most people never even heard of this guy before the game. So that's what stings the most about this. But you just got to hope that he can improve. That's really all there is to it, and become the guy you saw last year once again. He's not going anywhere in the immediate future. So buckle in, because he's just got to be better. John Denton wrote an interesting piece about some of the issues that I was actually unaware of that Helsley had in spring training. Irritation in his toe led to trainers inserting a plate into his shoe, something he thought kept him from properly pushing off the mound, and which caused a drop in fastball velocity, and regularly remained in triple-digit ranges last year. This is part of the write-up from Denton. Helsley said that the chain of events led to some bad habits as he tried to regain his velocity and started overthrowing instead of driving off the rubber with his legs. You know, mechanics are a big deal. Look what happened to Matthew Liberatore in his last game. All of a sudden, his mechanics got out of whack, and he's throwing like 89, like things were just not right. And same thing goes with these guys in the bullpen. You know, when Helsley's mechanics get out of whack, things are going to be different. He's not going to be as good. He said he fell in a bad habit at the end of spring and early in the season, like in the first week, and then it showed up for like a month. He said, I've felt really good these last few weeks, but I haven't had great results. He goes, sometimes baseball just happens. And I know you guys don't like to hear that as an excuse, but it does. These guys are all good ball players in their own right. He says he's just trying to keep working, stay out there, and stay after it. So good stuff from Denton. Check it out at MLB.com. And that's the mentality that the closer has to have. You know, if he was so weak-minded that this 1 week would crush him and just debilitate him for the rest of the season, that would bug you. He wouldn't be a closer, would he? He'd be something else. If he started doubting himself and his stuff, that's when things would get really, really ugly. and the Cardinals don't have a backup plan if Helsley weren't around. So I suppose you could go to a closer by committee if that's something that you wanted to try, but no team is really interested in doing that. You know, the want to have just guys with their particular roles and just do their jobs. That way, everybody knows what they're getting into each and every game. You don't want to where everybody's like, am I up? Is this guy gonna be? I don't know. You don't want that. You don't want that. So Helsley is the guy, period. They're not trading him away right now. Maybe at the deadline. That's something we'll discuss. We got a month and a half until then. We brought it up a little bit yesterday, but it's not something that you're looking to do right now. He's not going to get replaced. Nobody else is coming in to be your new closer. Phil Maton is not going to be your closer. Stop it. Ryan Helsley just has to be better. He has to be better. And I'm sure he'll work towards doing that. So let's root him on. We're going to talk about this offense next. I want to talk about that 10th inning as well, plus an update on Jordan Walker, Ivan Herrera's big hit. Obviously, that was fun. So we'll get into all of that next coming up on Locked On Cardinals. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, whether it's fast food or real restaurants, all of it's expensive these days. Online shopping, you got to go grab simple things like detergent or toilet paper, stuff like that. The basic essentials, like all of a sudden you're starting to you're churning out money. And what about entertainment? Fun things like going to the ball game. It's easy to lose track of where your money's going, and that's where Monarch Money comes in to be your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. And Monarch Money, it's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center where you can track all of your accounts, your investments, and your spending. You get to do it all in one place, too. There's no bouncing around to different areas. Like, it's one app. Monarch Money helps you manage your money and will help you start building wealth as well. And instead of juggling these multiple apps, you just use Monarch Money to check the finances, the spending, and you can even plan long-term goals. They can help you do that. That way you're starting to build things for the future. If you're married, it makes life a lot easier where you can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, stay on the same page, but do it without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your second listen, I encourage you to check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. As mentioned in the beginning, the offense had little to no success against Blue Jay starter Jose Barrios, who went 6 2/3 innings, no runs, 4 hits. And he's not even a big strikeout guy. Just kind of had the guys off balance. A lot of pop-ups last night. Things just didn't turn until he was out of the game, right? You know, like they had him in there and he had the Cardinals just like we didn't know what was coming at us. And the Cardinals, though, as soon as he got out of the game, you saw the momentum shift. And you saw them strike in that 8th inning. And they got to do it with 2 outs, which was pretty impressive. Credit to Victor Scott II. I mean, we know how much he's been struggling at the plate. Doesn't have a hit yet in June. Is batting 136 over his last 78 plate appearances. But they're riding with him. You know how we talk about runway for guys like Gorman, although, you know, he hasn't had nearly as much as we thought he was going to get. But Jordan Walker, Victor Scott as well. Like, they're not benching this guy. They're not going to call Michael Ciani in to save the day and all of a sudden start him in center field. Like, Victor Scott is the guy. They're rolling with him. And they just, you know, they're going to try to get him out of this funk that he's in at the plate. But he works that leadoff walk, which was outstanding, you know, because he got – remember the one strike call was way outside. The ump was like, oh, I did call that, didn't I? So on the last pitch – which could have been called a strike, way closer than the pitch that was previously called a strike. They call it a ball. He gets on. You saw the pitcher for the Blue Jays. He was like, what the? But Victor gets on, you know, and I felt good for him there because despite all the struggles at the plate, despite the unfortunate home run that went off his glove in center field to make it 3-0, you know, it's like when things go bad, they really go bad. But he works that walk in the 8th. Mason Wynn gets a single, and then with 2 outs, you get the RBI single by Wilson Contreras, which set up the moment for Ivan Herrera, who delivers with a bang yet again. I mean, how much do you love this guy? How much do you love Ivan Herrera? 3-run rocket into the camera well in left field corner, giving the Cardinals a 4-3 lead. Just pandemonium at Busch Stadium. The place was alive. The offense has this never quit attitude, and they played with it for most of this year, and it just about got them a win in a game that honestly seemed dead and gone long ago. Like, nobody figured that all of a sudden they would just come back and swipe the lead, but they were able to do it. Unfortunately, Helsley wasn't able to close the door, but 5 of Herrera's 7 home runs this season have either tied the game or put the Cardinals into the lead. Like, he's just been as clutch as anyone can ask him to be, and it sucks that it got wasted. He did it against the Royals on Thursday, but it's kind of eerily similar to what happened here. Helsley unable to shut the door. Royals stole the win in that one. Blue Jays steal a win in this one. So that was unfortunate, but, it is awesome seeing Ivan Herrera blossoming the way he has so far this year. You wonder where his numbers would be if he hadn't missed that month with the bone bruise in his leg. So I do want to talk about the 10th inning real quick. So after the Cardinals go down in the 9th, Victor Scott made the last out. So you're like, all right, we got our speedster starting the extra innings at second base. Fastest guy on the roster. You're down 1 run after the Blue Jays scored in the top of the 10th. And you've got the struggling Lars Nootbaar coming to the plate. And I think myself and the rest of the world expected a bunt attempt of some sort there. And it didn't happen. I was shocked. Why no bunt attempt? And I haven't seen Ollie talk about this yet. My thing is, though, that Lars has looked just terrible recently. Like, he looks terrible at the plate, taking some of the most un-Noot at-bats we've ever seen. Just wild swings at pitches that are really not even all that close to being strikes. And for a guy that's got that eagle eye that we're used to seeing, it's been weird. Brendan Donovan looked weird last night, too, swinging at a bunch of bad pitches, just flailing away. But Noot had 2 more strikeouts on Monday, giving him 32 in his last 105 plate appearances with just 8 walks. That's not normal. His career strikeout percentage is 20.1%, and over the last month, he's at 30%. So a significant increase in the strikeouts right now for Lars Nootbaar. He's really fighting it. Also batting just .215 in that same time span. The OBP has dipped to .286 over that time span as well. When things were really cooking for this offense, it was Noot that was setting the tone with his long and exhausting at-bats, getting a lot of walks. If he wasn't walking, he was punching a hit or 2 in there. Obviously, he was hitting the long ball as well. And that is just not happening at the moment. And I'm sure he's working really hard to get it back on track, but it's certainly a reason why this offense has looked a little more sluggish in recent weeks. I don't want to say that they're overall struggling. I mean, they've faced some pretty good pitching, so it's not like, they're getting beat by a bunch of scrubs, but both him and Victor Scott struggling at the same time, and then hitting back-to-back at, in the 9 hole and the number 1 hole has shortened this lineup a little bit. So that's a big reason why the sluggishness is showing up in this Cardinals offense from time to time. But again, with Noot struggling the way he is, I was just a little surprised that they didn't even try to bunt to move Victor over to third base. That way, with his speed, you've got a number of different ways to get him home and tie the game, whether it's a wild pitch, pass ball, ground ball. Mason Wynn hits a ground ball up the middle that moves him over to third eventually, but that ground ball probably scores him, barring some miraculous play on the infield and a phenomenal throw home that's got to be perfectly accurate to get somebody as fast as Victor Scott. I just found it a little bit odd. It was strange. If Noot was going strong, then I can understand swinging away a little more, but it just kind of felt like that was an opportune time for somebody who's struggling to do something positive by getting a bunt down, and instead he strikes out again, and the Cardinals don't end up scoring. Shout out to Andre Palante, who was shaky early on. I even made the joke on X. I was like, is Palante the new Michaelis? Because it just seemed like the Blue Jays were just finding empty spots all over the infield and the outfield, just hole after hole. And if there was one little patch of grass that a Cardinal wasn't standing in, that is where the ball landed. Like, it just was happening that way early on. But He settles in nicely, makes some adjustments, ends up getting a quality start, 6 innings, allows just 2 runs. And I know some fans are wishing Michael McGreevy was the guy getting these starts instead of Andre Palante. But, you got to give Palante credit. Overcame that rough start to give the Cardinals exactly what they needed last night to stay in the game. And it worked because the Cardinals come back and take the lead in the 8th inning. So he did his job, kept you right there. Just weren't able to finish it off. Some injury updates. Jordan Walker has shown significant progress. Took batting practice pain-free for a 2nd straight day. Per manager Ali Marmol, expected to start a minor league rehab assignment on Thursday. Thank God. As frustrating as it has been to watch Jordan Walker go through the struggles this year, although he was hitting much better before he got hurt, I can't watch Ryan Vilade hit anymore. It is driving me bonkers. He is now 1 for 13 with 5 strikeouts since getting called up. I can't watch it anymore. I don't want to see it anymore, which hopefully means he's going to get a couple hits tonight. But I can't. He does. It's not working. It doesn't look good, and I'm over it. Matthew Liberatore appears good to go on Wednesday after leaving his start with the fatigue. Has had a couple rough starts his last 2 times out. Has been a big piece of the turnaround this season for the Cardinals. So hoping for a nice bounce-back game from him on Wednesday. It's a day game. And then tonight, Tuesday, it's Miles Michaelis against Chris Bassett. Michaelis 4-2 with a 3.96 ERA against Bassett, 6-3, 3.56 ERA. Really good in his last outing against the Phillies, but he did get lit up in his 2 previous starts against the Rays and the Athletics. So hopefully we get that version of Chris Bassett tonight, not the one that took on Philadelphia. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio, TikTok, Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. Please like and subscribe on YouTube and help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. You hear this about YouTube videos all the time that, only like 4% of the actual viewers are subscribed. Help us out, man. Help me out. We're trying to push to 13,000 subscribers on the channel. We're kind of hitting around 12.2 at the moment. Could use as many subscribers as possible to help, once again, our love for the Cardinals grow. Have it reach some other people, some Cardinals fans who may not know about us yet. So do me a solid if you don't mind, and please subscribe. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason. We'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.